to ensure that I actually reach middle height at least, especially with people like Mr. Keane and Mr. Davis out here, right? First of all, friends, welcome to the final AIBC event of the year. And what an event this promises to be. It's been, I had an occasion to meet a few of you, and it was great. The women in awesome dresses, the men, except me, of course, wearing nice suits. All is good. Well, wines and cheeses. How do you improve perfection? And Park, I want Sunito, to Indronil, to Ashley, to the entire Crown Group. This is an amazing venue, and this is absolutely fantastic organization. Thank you all, everybody. This is brilliant. I don't know, a few of you may have been at the Australia-India Awards, just held about a couple of months, maybe 3 months back. A lovely, disarmingly modest lady came up to me after my speech and said, my speech was extremely educational. She said she found a quiet room at the Four Seasons and read a self-help book, obviously educational. And this is when I try and keep my speeches short. You know, because a long time back I was told, one of our friends told me a story about a man who killed a long-winded keynote speaker and then went off to the sheriff's office to confess. The sheriff told him, you know, the bounty hunter's office is next door. The rewards are available there. So, in a less serious note, I think we as many of us are members of the AIBC, and we owe ourselves a couple of minutes to reflect on what has been an amazing year. We have had some massive successes, and like all years, we had a couple of not so great successes. But then, I think it was the Australian cricket captain, Bobby Simpson, who once said, we tend to have, we human beings tend to analyze failures to death. We rarely analyze successes, which is rather unfortunate, isn't it? So, what I would like to do in the next couple of minutes at least is try and reflect on some of the really good things we as a team did in the last 12 months or so. And think about it, the last year or so we added about 50 new members in this state alone. We elected a new committee to manage NSW. We hosted more than 17 events. And there were some unbelievable, remarkably interesting initiatives from many of our members. I think it's been an incredibly satisfying year. But for me, that more than the events, more than the membership, what demonstrates to me, especially in this room where we have almost 100 people registered and we had to turn away 45, 50 people, is that the sense of alignment I see when I think of AIBC. I see an aligned purpose. I see people with a purpose, people with interest, with absolute focus to ensure that the Australian-Indian relations, commerce, trade and investment, the goodwill, all the shared heritage the two countries share is leveraged effectively. I think that's absolutely critical for all of us. I think next year promises to be even better. All of us are here for a purpose, and I think I'm just lucky and just honored to be here in front of all of you and talk about some of the unbelievably interesting initiatives we are planning for next year. To start with, we are looking at bringing out a quarterly where we will talk about the state of the Indian-Australian trade, investment and commerce. We are working with one of our great supporters to make that a reality. The first one will be released early in March, and after that will be at the end of every quarter. We already have about a dozen events signed up. We probably have speakers ready. It's almost organized. I think it's going to be great. 2016. I had the pleasure of meeting an unbelievable man a few minutes back. I want Sunito. Is he out? Okay, that's fine. Unbelievable. He's the founder and CEO of the Crown Group. I speak bad Bahasha, and obviously he speaks much better than I do. And it was fantastic talking to him and talking about Jakarta, talking about Surabaya, talking about what makes a lovely nation tick. But more than anything else, besides the fact that he's such a smart man, obviously, such an intelligent person, what was very interesting to talk to when I spoke to him was his disarming modesty. Someone who's as well-to-do has done so much in the last 20 years. He's such a modest man, such a humble person, unbelievable. If I am humble and if I'm modest, I'll be in trouble because people will say that Raja is humble and modest because he's got plenty of things to be humble about. Not you, Fatima, not you. I was hoping to, in fact, I was looking forward to meeting today, almost as much as I was looking forward to drinking Ben's wines. My good friend Ben Hughes, he's unbelievable. There you go. Ben is obviously on his first glass of Chardonnay. So please ensure that all of you have a glass of Chardonnay in your hands. But before you start drinking more, I need to spend a couple of more minutes. I need to bore you guys to death so that you really enjoy the wines, right? So think of all the wines, think of all the cheeses while I ramble on. A good news for all of you to start with. The MC, the committee which manages NSW, we met on Tuesday evening, and there was an absolute decision. We will limit speeches to start with. Right? So, and one of the decisions we took was, we'll have no vote of thanks and stuff like that, which is great, honestly. To start with, I don't really trust my Vice President, Samir Arora, to do vote of thanks speeches after a few glasses of wine.
Yeah, right.
I'm not sure if I trust him now, really. So I thought, I'll just take the honors to, and thank all the people who have made this event and the AIBC for the last 12 months such a great event. So let me make a note of all the people. First of all, the Crown Group, thank you. Indeed, my good friend, thanks a lot. Ashley, Bakaimon, all of you, great. Thanks for hosting us. It's unbelievable event. Thank you of all of you. To all members, to all the guests who have taken time from, I'm sure, what are very busy schedules at Baxter's and to come in and have a drink with us. Appreciate it. To CBA, Kavita, Gunjan, I don't know if you're around. Kavita is always here. I haven't seen Gunjan, but thank you for all the support throughout the year the CBA team has been giving us. To all the other organizations, people like Meghnad and Pankaj from Cognizant, I'm not sure if there's somebody from NTT out here, but they have been absolute great support to us over the year. Thank you, all of you. To our key stakeholders, DFAT, to the Indian Consulate. I didn't see Mr. Rao somewhere. I did see Dr. Bahare somewhere. Yeah, there you go. Thank you guys. Thanks a lot. And I hope to see Mary Louis Hans sometime in the evening. I hope if she's not here already. Oh, there she is. Thanks a lot. Oh, I totally missed you. Apologies. So thank you. That's unbelievable. I was hoping to actually hear from you on what makes your nation, Canada, such an interesting nation, incredible diversity, incredible example. You and your organization country is setting for all of us to follow. Tough act, very tough act for all of us. Thanks to especially all my friends at AIBC. Despite my best efforts, I still have a few friends left. To Shiva, I don't know if Shiva is coming us yet. The lovely Shiva, of course. To Con, my treasurer, the treasurer for the national, great guy. To my inter committee, Stuart, I see Pallavi, I see John, my friend John. Great, thank you all of you. To the two dark and handsome men, Dipen and Samir. Oh, and sorry, Pallavi, I mean, when I say dark and handsome, I said that, when it is dark, they are handsome. Okay, relax. And most importantly, Samir, really. Samir has been the man who has made this event possible. Samir and Sam. What's it about Sam and Samir? Kind of right. These two people.
Just make you look good.
I know. Tell me about it. And I can't even wear a decent suit. So I really hope all of you enjoyed my speech. And if you did not, I hope all of you had a good nap so that you can enjoy the wines later. And if you think it was a really bad speech, please don't lynch me. Remember, I addressed all of you as friends. Thank you. Thank you.